Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to another edition of the Plant Spot. Today I'm going to feature a Hoya. No surprise there. If you like this type of content, stick around. Alright guys, as I mentioned, today's featured plant is a Hoya. Now one thing I want you to know is that I won't feature a plant unless it's been in my care for at least 6 months. I think it's only fair to do it that way because then I'm able to give you a somewhat fair assessment of how the plant grows and reacts. Today's Hoya is, I'm going to try not to butcher the name, it's a Cumingiana. I think I got that right, but nonetheless we'll put the name down below so you could see. I got this Hoya from Gabriella Plants. It was a small cutting, if you will, and about yay high, 2 little sprouts, 1 little, 1 big. And from the minute I got her, she took off. Prolific grower. It got to the point where I had to take her out of the cabinet, put her on this trellis. I repotted her. She came in a 3-inch pot. I repotted her to this self-watering pot. I changed the medium a little bit. I didn't disturb her roots too much, but I did put her into the mix that I like, which is, as I've always mentioned, the same one. I use that mix for almost all of my plants. It's the cocoa chips, the cocoa peat, perlite, charcoal, a little bit of orchid bark, worm castings, and that's it. So this plant came to me from Gabriella Plants, 3-inch pot, 2 little vines, and I recently repotted her, as I mentioned. And what I like about her, and the reason I'm spotlighting her, is because of the tiny itty bitty leaves. I think the leaves are cute because they're so small. They come out and they're a little limeish in color, and then they harden off and they turn green. There's not a whole lot of detail to the leaf itself. Let me turn her back around this way. So, you know, it doesn't have those pronounced veins or anything like that. But what I like about her is that she's easy to grow. She's not a fussy Hoya. As long as she stays moist, not wet, so like when the top couple inches are dry, she seems to enjoy that. She gets bright and direct light, and that's about it. From what I've read online, this Hoya was discovered in the Philippines back in the 1800s or so. She hasn't bloomed for me yet. It's a very young plant. Vermont Hoyas, Doug from Vermont Hoya says it took him about 2 years to get his to bloom, and his is huge. Based on what I read from his take on the plant is that you have to train it early on, because if not, it'll get out of hand. Hence the reason why I put her on this trellis. I read on his site that the blooms actually smell like cinnamon, and they're really pretty. So if you're interested in seeing that, and I will try to get a picture of the blooms and insert it somewhere here so you could see, you should check out his plant specimen. It's very big. I am excited to see this plant continue to grow. Like with most Hoyas, as you can see, she throws out these vines. Another thing that I read is that when it's vining like this, you should never, you know, at this point you would say, well, why don't you just go ahead and clip her down? It's been my experience that if I take the vine like this and clip it down, it dies off at the tip. So I try to let it grow out far enough where I can either clip it to come back around, or in this case, like I did with this vine here, wrap it so it can continue to go up. I have other Hoyas where prior to that knowledge, I wrapped and I pointed the vines down and they did die off. So that's, you know, something interesting about these plants. But you know, folks tend to say that Hoyas are a little difficult to grow, and I don't think so. Some Hoyas are very easy to grow. So as far as a beginner plant, I think this one is a good candidate. If you're looking for something, you know, that's different and not as common, this is a good one to go for. And, you know, it's not an expensive plant. I think I paid like $14 for this one. And just before this video, I checked Gabriella's plants and she has them in stock for like $12.99. So yeah, not an expensive one. This is not one that I think you'll find in the big box stores. So it's not rare per se, but it's not common enough where you find them like at Lowe's and Home Depot and things like that. But if you want to try your hand at growing a Hoya, this is a good one to start with. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how she takes off. As far as the humidity, I don't think this is one that requires like high humidity. This one is in this room. I'm not running the humidifier. It's currently living on top of the plant cabinet, so it's getting bright light, but the only humidity she's getting is the one that comes from the ambient, you know, being around other plants, creating their own little microsystem environmentally. Yeah, check this one out. Don't sleep on it. This is one you should look for. So this is the Hoya Cumingiana. And I highly recommend this plant, and I think you will love growing it with its tiny, itty bitty little tiny leaves. So cute. All right, guys, that's all I got for you on today's Spotlight. If you enjoy this type of content, remember, like, subscribe, and comment. Love to hear from you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.